Hi, my name is Steve Hiles, and I want to share my backstory that led me to create my Read Coach Read reading system. I'd observed my fourth graders struggling with nonfiction text, which was one of our grade level standards. Their formative reading assessments also indicated to me that more work was needed to be done with that particular skill. Now, my desire was to create some high interest, low to high reading level reading passages for my kids. The thing was, I wasn't quite sure what topics would really excite my students, nor was I sure what genres my kids would gravitate toward. Quite frankly, I felt bad because of the fact that my kids didn't perform as well on formative tests, made me feel that I had somehow failed them. I thought I should have been able to move the mark for these children, so that got me thinking long and hard about how to proceed. The problem was I didn't quite know where to begin. I researched everything I could online that addressed reading informational text. I had to rethink a whole new strategy for improving my students' reading and comprehension skills of nonfiction text. Then it occurred to me to develop another reading inventory that would ask some pointed questions as to various topics, genres, and other information where I can gather and analyze it all. I had also been making anecdotal notes as to what kinds of books my kids were reading in the classroom. So after developing the reading interest inventory, I presented it to my kids, and what I explained to them is that I wanted them to be real honest as to what types of real-world material they enjoyed reading the most. I have to admit that some of the feedback came as a surprise to me. My class gave me some valuable input for my consideration, but there still was a problem. I still had to deal with the fact that how I would make these reading passages truly engaging to the point where kids couldn't wait to get their hands on them. Also, I had to develop texts that were appropriate for varying reading levels. This whole process got very frustrating at times, trying to create something from scratch that children would find truly enjoyable and fascinating. Well, I worked on a project for over 3 months and ended up with a resource of materials centered around extreme sports. I was bound and determined to perfect this packet of materials, and so excited to introduce these to my class and colleagues down the hall. I wanted to test out my protocols for delivering my new system of reading. As a result, within the time period it took me to create the resource, I had developed 15 informational texts, a teacher information sheet, I-CAN statement, student roles, questions and answer keys, and a variety of exit tickets to validate their learning. After creating Read Coach Read, finally I was able to put in place my reading system. It took a couple of class sessions for my students to really get the hang of the procedures, but frankly, I had noticed a shift in their attitude, which was a good thing, toward reading after the very first class session. I attribute that to the accountability piece that was put into Read Coach Read. I have to tell you that I witnessed children really getting fired up over these real-world informational reading passages. It was so rewarding to see this whole effect pay off like it did. In the end, this meant I had students that could not wait until I rolled out Read Coach Read again. Typically, I would implement the system an average of 3 times a week, but never less than 2. In conclusion, I felt gratified knowing that what I had developed instilled a love of reading, and the reading skills of nonfiction text dramatically improved like I've never seen before. So if you want compelling, engaging nonfiction text that your students will absolutely enjoy, and higher test scores, by the way, click the button below and get started. You will get immediate access to Read Coach Read and be able to put it into action tomorrow. I wish you much success and have a great day.